I would like to dedicate this video to some issues or some ideas about money and different kinds of money, not just any kind of money. Uh, let's say hot money, drug money, money from corruption, what else? Derivatives, and a few other topics. Actually, money is really important to many people, and many people care deeply about their retirements and their 401k and investments or any business they might have. It enters into their thoughts and dreams and ambitions, and the internet is full of videos about banks and how they are insolvent, and I guess there is more than a few people that sit and think about these things a lot. I was reading the news, Google News, that the Iranian government recently sentenced a businessman and three of his associates to death. I guess the Iranian courts, they call such people who commit large-scale fraud or theft of government funds as corruptors of the earth, which they are, because they impact the society in a negative way, in a huge way. So I guess he had stolen $2 billion and funneled it through his associates, and he owed a lot of money to the government of Ahmadinejad. Well, he's toast, but if the Iranian courts got hold of many of the bank executives or CEOs or high-flying hot money managers from U.S., they wouldn't fare any better than this businessman. The kinds of frauds they're engaging in would easily qualify them for being corrupter of the earth. So I believe at some point the United States will come down very hard on these individuals that steal public money through fraud or through misallocation, because you can't have a sound monetary system without rule of law and without punishment and bankruptcy. It just can't happen. We are all tied in to this system, or to any other monetary system, to Iranian money or any kind of money. A lot of businesses are tied to it. You can't play with that. You cannot steal $2, $3, $10 billion or $1 million and expect things will not go south. They will go south. There will be consequences, and this needs to be in the calculus of many businessmen and many bank executives or CEOs that they could face similar situations. But the other subject that is of interest is that of hard money and the negative consequence or effect that it has on society. Because say, for example, you want to build up a business, you want to build up a grocery store, as movie theater, whatever. It doesn't just take money to build a business. Most businesses are located in a location or in a society. They are like integrated with society. They're like the fabric of the society, and even though you or the bank might not see the relationships that the business has with the common guy walking down the street, but there is a lot that goes on. It's not really just money that makes that business. uh, let's take this most simple case of location and the traffic. Well, even if you are in a good location and you have very good traffic, if you're offering products and services that are not needed by society, or the society does not accept them, or is resilient or hostile to those products or services, you're not going to sell. So there is that bond, that cultural bond. You have to offer something that the society wants. And also, businesses take time to organically evolve, and they are part of the social fabric, social contract. Say for example, you just want to make a mom and pop grocery store. Think about it. The money that comes in, the first thing that comes into mind is the food stamp and the money that comes in from there. And there is a certain portion of the population that's low income, and they buy that. And then once you go on that track, and then you'll start thinking, okay, what kind of stuff these people buy that I should stock. Or if you are in a very high-end neighborhood, you might say, oh, what kind of things these people like to buy. Usually they want to buy organic stuff, or brand vodka, or brand soda, or brand chocolate. They don't just buy anything. So you have to be conscious of that. And the other thing is that even if you make a business that's a successful business, there is a concept, it's called the return on investment. That means after you pay the taxes and you pay the employees, you cannot gyp them, you have to pay them the wages that are suitable for that neighborhood. You're left with the return, okay? And say for example, for a grocery store, that return is not very high. It's like usually like 2%. I wouldn't be surprised if like Vons or Ralph's or Albertson, they, what kind of return they would get on their money. I think it's very low. It's like 1% or 2%, or if they are very lucky, it's like 3%. So I mean, this is a business that is justified, is not criminal in any way. Is the society wants it, is totally kosher, and it benefits society and benefits employees. So yeah, this is a bellwether kind of business, which means that you can gauge other businesses in respect to this kind of business. So if we look at a bellwether kind of business, like a grocery store that everybody needs, or like a McDonald's or Del Taco, and their returns is low, it's something like 2%, 3%, 4%, and you'll see that if you go into the stock market or into the derivatives market and you're getting 6%, guess where the money is going to go. So and this delineates the businesses that this is the money that comes from such businesses as the grocery store or some gas station is a kosher money. It has some meaning, and it has value and relationship to society. It has a multiplier effect. But the money that comes in from financial engineering and derivatives, and the hot money that suddenly migrates here and there, that the money has some bad energy associated with it, which means it really doesn't do anything for society. It's destructive. It comes in and just grabs whatever they can, and then runs out. There is this feeling of criminality about it. It's really the kind of money that many governments and many societies should be wary of and try to tax it and minimize its transfer and relocation. You don't really want this kind of money because it comes in and invests in whatever. It invests in real estate and invests in currency transactions, and then it suddenly pulls out, and then the place is devastated because you just paid out to this foreign investor all this cash. All this cash left your economy. You're really screwed. Yeah. That's why some countries they have very bad problems. We need to look at money and the psychic energies or the energies or relationships that it has with society and the effect that it has. Not every kind of money is the same kind of money. There is differences. Then what else goes on in society is the drug trade is actually a huge portion of the income of many societies, Mexico, United States, and all kinds of activities is concerned with these kind of money, and this is destructive money, and when the drug dealers are involved in businesses, the valuation of businesses goes up or down, not based on anything that's relevant to what this business is doing for its outside buyers or sellers, but is based on hype and Wall Street valuations. I don't know, some of these concepts are difficult, but when bad money comes in and becomes business because of money laundering, the business loses its perspective, because when you are running a kosher business, the business has to make profit in the right way, has to buy stuff at a certain price and sell it at a markup, and the customers have to accept that markup and have to continue frequenting that business. But when a shitload of money comes in, that money came from cocaine trade, the owner of the company, most of the time, the only thing they want to do is to have sales. They don't care how the sales comes about. It might be they might even lose money on some of the sales or a lot of the sales, but as long as the money comes in, they can justify money laundering, and the profit and loss and the valuation of the business, it loses its legitimacy and its meaning and its relationship to society and what the society wants from the business or wants to do with it. It totally screws it up. I mean, you wouldn't see it as a consumer, but I have been in business and I look at it and say, hey, there's a lot of stuff wrong here. This business is really upside down. But another very negative side effect of the how money and Wall Street money is that the companies that have many retail stores, they are able to play all these games in the stock market with the options and with the valuation of the company, or get loans on the whole business, sell themselves over and over to many fund managers. It's really what these people are doing is sitting on top and collecting, and they're just running a business. The business is as if it's like some operation, here and there, and it just shows profit, shows sales. Their whole mindset is not set up to, be concerned with the business and what the business needs and what the business should be doing. So a lot of these businesses, they're out of touch with reality. They're out of touch with customers. They're out of touch with suppliers. They're fucked up. They're screwed up, and they after these the CEOs and the shareholders, they collect their cash from the top, then you end up with a company that's like a shell. It's got all these obligations, and all the people that work there, they're like zombies. They have no idea what's going on. They just show up and do this, and then they go home. There is no purpose or no relevance to customers. I think that many people have seen this. You know what I'm talking about. But this is the very negative influence of hot money and drug money or bad money. The other way, the bad money corrupts businesses is like when the government prints or the central bank prints all kinds of money and just hands it to their friends, and they go and buy legitimate businesses. So like some idiot sitting somewhere, he's got all this cash and goes and buys like a U-Haul company. He has no fucking idea how this business works. Who wants this service? So he does all this stuff with the shares, and he sells the business and rehypothecates and sells options on it, and the business becomes like a shell, has all these debt and all these relationships with the Wall Street investors, but the underlying business has no fucking relationship whatsoever with these people. It's like a blood-brain barrier. There's like, as soon as you go through the barrier, there's like this whole new culture, and this new culture is the culture that the original company had, that was providing a legitimate and kosher service. It just totally screws the companies up, and it's very bad for them. And many companies actually fold over. And the other problem is that these people who are like investors, they are not really business run. Someone who can run a business, and they have no concerns or no caring for this business. Everything to them is a financial transaction, and the business suffers because any business is an organic being. It's in relationship to society. Has to always on a daily basis see what the customers need. So really it's operating in some kind of hyper zone. Loses touch with its base, its customers, its suppliers. It is very bad, and the fact that many companies, many financial companies, and also Wall Street, every once in a while they really go bust and their stock crashes. This is not a bad thing, because these people who are financial gurus, they are not businessmen. Their concerns is they are just pushing paper and playing with money. They are not providing a service or a product or any. They are not adding anything to the economy. They're crap. And it is a benefit to society when they go out of business, when they go bust, because then they have to sell these legitimate businesses at a deep discount, and somebody else like me comes along who has actually run a business and buys them on pennies on the dollar, and then runs the business the way that business should be run. It's just because disasters happen doesn't mean that they are a bad thing. This idea can extend to real estate to office buildings to whatever, you know. Just because somebody is financially successful, that doesn't make them a businessman. That doesn't make them something that's useful to society, or something that you can create new businesses or new ideas. Uh, Usually they are destructive individuals, and the Iranian people and the Iranian government have a very good gut sense. Every once in a while you hear in the news that they have hanged some of the bankers and some of the businessmen that have stolen a lot of money. Just they have a sense that comes a point you need to get rid of them, and the laws reflect that. These laws needs to be in the calculus of many such crooked businessmen. I would extend these ideas to politics, and for example, the Iranian government can make agreements with the British and the American government that if some of these guys stole all this money and they're storing the money in your banks, hey, this is our money and you need to return them, and we'll do the same for you. We don't need criminals and large scale larceny, neither do you. You know, we need to have sound money, and we don't need all these destructive processes going on in society. I think in the next few years, even this year, all these financial disasters, they are not a bad thing. They are beneficial to society. In fact, society is ridding itself of things that they shouldn't be there. They are destructive. Institutions and companies that steal resources that belong to the society. Some of these ideas are extremely complex. I myself watch a lot of Kaiser Report and USA Watchdog and many other financial programs, but also I read foreign journals. I'm not stuck with a certain view that's mainstream. Well, thank you for being in my YouTube channel, and please feel free to leave a comment.